What is up, guys? It is Carly here, bringing you day number 12 of my 31 days of horror, and I know I said that I was going to go through my entire collection, or not my entire collection, but my entire to-watch pile, and that be kind of the theme for my 31 days, but I decided to kind of change it up a little bit because I wanted to go along with the challenge of sorts that 22 Shots is trying to do, and if I'm being completely honest, I do pre-record my videos, so I had already had the first 11 videos pre-recorded before the month of October even hit, and they kind of released the challenge, so I am going to change it up. I'm still going to do movies probably that I have not really seen, or ones that are on my watch stack if they fit with the criteria that they laid out, because they do have certain themes going on. But yeah, just putting that out there, because the movie I'm about to talk about is not one that I had in my collection, and it's also one that I have seen before, but I've only seen it one time, and yeah, that is the Transfiguration from the year 2017. If you guys can remember way back when, I talked about this movie on 22 Shots, because I believe it was my number 3 or 2 of the year. I think it was number 3 actually, and I was just really high on this movie, and I decided to check it out on Netflix again, because one of the themes that they have with 22 Shots is a vampire themed movie, and I do consider this to be a vampire film in its own sort of way, so I went ahead and rewatched it. So Transfiguration. The story here is you're following a boy. He is a little bit disturbed in the mind. He's had some complications in life. He doesn't have his parents anymore. They have both passed away for different circumstances, and he just lives with his, I want to say, teen or probably 20-something-year-old brother in these, I guess it would be the projects, and it's kind of a very bad neighborhood. There's a lot of gangs going around and crime and things like that. So he's living there, and he's kind of an isolated loner who has a big fascination with vampires, just the style and the lore in general of vampires, and that's kind of what he sort of hides behind. That's kind of the only thing that really keeps him going in life. Then one day he meets this girl, this young white girl who has just moved in to live with her grandfather, and I believe they're living upstairs in the same apartment complex that he lives in, and him and this girl start to bond and relate and create this relationship based on their problems, because she too has lost both her parents, and she's living with her abusive grandfather, so they kind of bond just in the way that they're both sort of depressed and loners and don't really have anyone else to turn to. And yeah, the story kind of goes from there. It mainly is just following these two characters around, and you're watching their relationship build, and you're also seeing some disturbing things that the boy is doing throughout the movie. So that is the basic story. This movie definitely, I will say right off the bat, is a very slow-paced film. It runs about 1 hour and 37 minutes, I believe, but it has a definite slow feel to it. So if you're not into the slow-paced movies, you're probably not going to like this. You're probably going to find it to be very boring and not really get it. But with that being said, it's a very beautifully shot film. There's some very just mesmerizing scenes, and it really captures the feel of sort of living in that rundown area very well. The movie is considered a horror drama, and I feel like neither of those words really fit it. I think disturbing is the best way to put this movie, because the scenes that you see that are supposed to be like horror are very disturbing to me personally. They actually kind of make me sick to my stomach, just seeing some of the stuff that this boy is doing and what he's going through and stuff like that. I just find it to be very disturbing and very well done. So that's one of the reasons that I really kind of fell in love with the movie. Watching the characters interact, the boy and the girl, is very interesting. They do a good job with just the dialogue and the interesting way they talk to each other, especially the boy. He's so into these vampires, and just the way he gets really passionate about them is, like I said, very interesting and intriguing. He just he's very passionate about that, and other than that, he doesn't really have too much emotion behind his voice and words. And same goes for his brother. His brother kind of just lays on the couch throughout the majority of the movie. He's just like sort of a very hey whatever type of dude who sits on the couch and watches TV. And I find that to be very relatable too, because there's definitely people in real life who are like that, who are just kind of not with it, and they don't really care about what's going on, and sort of oblivious as well to things that might be going on with people around them. So I did find that to be very intriguing, especially for this being a second time watch. I was worried that I might not like it as much, but I did still find it to be fascinating, and it does capture your attention. Like I said, some people might find it to be a little bit boring, and I could definitely see why they would feel that way, but I think just if you get into the story and really invest in the characters, you could really like this movie. I will say, though, it definitely wasn't as impactful as it was for me the first time I watched it. Obviously, it's not a fun movie per se. It's more of just one that you're kind of intrigued by and wondering what's happening. Like I said, it's a horror drama, so it's more on the drama side. You're not going to get any comedy or really fun, over-the-top moments in this film. It's just very much kind of watching these characters and seeing how their relationship builds, and just trying to figure out what's really going on with this main kid, Milo. That's his name, by the way. Like I said, I'm always bad with saying people's names, but the main boy, his name's Milo, and you're trying to just figure out what's going on inside his head, and if what he's doing is really true to himself, if that makes any sense. So I really like that. The ending to this movie is what really sells it for me. It's very, very impactful. It's a very downbeat type of ending, very dramatic and sad, and I did cry the first time I watched it. I didn't feel necessarily as much emotion this time around, unfortunately, but I will say I did get chills, especially with the final scene and just the closing monologue. So it definitely still had a bit of an impact on me, but I will say not as much as the first time around. This probably isn't one that I would rewatch a whole lot, just because I don't want it to lose what it originally had for me. And like I said, it's not a fun movie that you just pop in for the heck of it. It's one that you really just want to put on and appreciate for the artsiness to it. So I think I gave this like a 9.5 last year. I'm going to go ahead and lower it a little bit to a 9, just for the fact that, like I said, it doesn't have as big of an impact now, but I still think it's a beautiful film with a really great story and a great message behind it. So yeah, Transfiguration, I give a 9 out of 10. Thank you guys once again for joining me for day number 12 here, and I will see you for day 13.